What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade basketball analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. We're gonna talk about Karl Anthony Towns and his Minnesota Timberwolves this season. This is a team that got a lot of interest just because they showed, even though they was losing, they have a lot of offensive weapons and potential. And even with the coaching change, that give you something to be interested in this season to see what they're going to try to run, what they're going to try to do, and seeing growth and development from a lot of their young players, including Anthony Edwards, is going to really make you want to watch this team to see how good they have gotten, what they have worked on, and how they look this season, especially together. Now, this team, I don't expect to be great. I don't really expect them to be a playoff team. They still have a lot of problems that won't be solved within 2 seasons, but they're still trying to build upon things, still trying to figure out what they're trying to keep and what they're trying to do with this roster, and ultimately what their identity and what they are going to be as a team and what they're going to run and what they really want to do. They switched up and changed a lot of things throughout the season, including their starting lineups and lineups in general, and injuries was key to that too. But now that they know that this is our group, this is what we're coming into camp with, outside of a possible Ben Simmons trade because they was interested in them. If this team is the same, we can talk about what to expect for this team. Look at Jared Vanderbilt. We don't really know. Jared, we don't really know if he's going to make the roster. He's going to be interesting for them and the camp environment. Same with McKinley. You also look at Nas Reed, a big body. I don't really like Nas Reed because he's not physical enough. You would think with a 6'9", 264 body, he'll brutalize people in the paint, but it just doesn't work like that. Not the greatest finisher. Also prefer finesse, but is also not a great shooter or free throw shooter for his size. Definitely an undersized center. Will be interesting to see what his role is going to be outside of Minnesota in this league, as he doesn't look like a legitimate backup or starter so far in his career. So it'll just be interesting to see what he becomes in this league after he departs from Minnesota. Torian Prince has bounced around a lot. It was surprising that they brought him in, but just gives them a four because they got rid of Hernan Gomez that can give them some type of spacing. Never been a consistent three-point shooter or weapon offensively for any team, but has been a solid role player that you put him in the right system. With the right talent, he can be a good complementary piece to certain lineups. Also, you look at Joshua Kogi. This is an athletic guard that likes to get up and down, can really be a solid defender, not really great defensively, undersized for the three, which is a problem with this roster, but also a guy that's going to put effort, hustle, energy, do the dirty work. You need guys like that, but I just wish he can give me a little bit more offensive ability just to compensate for not really being a great defender or a guy that's really elite at other areas in his game so far in his career. Jalen Noel, I don't really know if he's going to get a lot of minutes. They have a lot of guys that play similar positions, and unfortunately, that cuts into his time of actually being able to develop and play on his roster. But it's part of the game. It's part of the NBA. A lot of guards are on NBA rosters, and he's just another guard that's on the NBA roster that we don't really know much of or really can see much of this season. But it's still worth mentioning him because he's on this roster. Same way with Jordan. He's trying out for the team. We'll see if he make it. They used him before. It'd be interesting to see if they want to bring him back. They got the roster spot to do it. We'll just see if they fill it with somebody else. Jaden McDaniels, I told you he was raw. I was surprised that he played as many minutes as he did, but he is a guy that's interesting, mobile, have some type of shot creation ability maybe in the future. Can also possibly defend, be switchable. Once he add more size, he's 6'9", 185. That's just not healthy for the NBA, especially when you're playing against guys that's 6'9", 6'8", and they all over 200 pounds. That was something that we knew. His offensive game was going to have to grow. He was really raw coming into the league, and defensively, he just can't guard anybody. But then again, he was a rookie. He's young, and it's going to come with experience, and they got to continue to let him figure that part out and be hard on him and stern on him so he can be a productive role player. I don't really see him being a significant player in the league, but I do see him being a rotation wing in this league, and that's a role that he already has with the Wolves. We'll just see as he adds strength, muscle, and a little bit more consistently scoring wise. Probably 3 to 4 years from now, he can be a solid rotation player, just not now. Jake Layman was an interesting guy for them. He is a guy that we really don't know what he's going to be amazing at in the league. just a solid role player, rotation player in the league. Um, you wish they would have had more versatile wings, but they have a lot of guys that are either not great at a lot of things, not elite at a lot of things, or just not the greatest athletes and have the size to match. And you can say the same thing about Jake Layman. When you look at Nathan Knight, we don't even know if he's going to be a significant player on the team or even stay on the roster. Same with Ed Davis. He's young. I mean, he's 32, but Ed Davis, we don't know if he's going to stay on this roster. He's been a veteran that's bounced around the league for years, trying to find a home, trying to find a place where he can contribute. Teams continue to waive him. Teams continue to drop him each and every year. We'll see if he's on this roster or if he goes to a different team and be one of their rotation players. But it'll be interesting to see where his career is at. Ball Morrow, he actually got signed by the Wolves. I don't really see him having a significant role on this team. Might be a 10 to 15-minute guy at the max. Really don't see him being more than that. Will be interesting to see what he does for this team. And now for the big pieces that's going to get the most of the minutes. Patrick Beverly, Brad brought to this team. I don't see him staying on this roster long term just because he's not going to want to deal with the losing. He's not really going to want to deal with the environment of a lot of young players growing and developing, and he's not really fitting the timeline of this team or what they're really trying to do. It's funny how he ended up on this roster, but he will ultimately end up on a contender by the time the season is over. But he is a guy that's going to be fun and competitive and really going to push these guys in the right way when it comes to competing. But other than that, I don't see Patrick Beverly staying on his roster the entire year. Malik Beasley, I liked him coming into this year. The problem is him and Anthony Edwards was playing the same position. The thing about it is Malik Beasley is the better shooter. They needed consistent three-point shooting and shot creation, especially from the mid-range. Malik Beasley is better at that than every other player on this roster. But now they're going to use him more as a six man. He was like that in the previous stop. This team felt like they can give him more opportunity and more of a chance, and they paid him because of his spacing and his shot creation ability potential. But ultimately, they ended up finding that Anthony Edwards, who grew to 6'6", which he said, and he is supposed to be the guy that they're going to run a lot of the offense through as the perimeter guy. Problem with Anthony Edwards is he's not a great mid-range shooter, not a great three-point shooter. Still a solid finisher, considering that he was a rookie and didn't start the entire season. He has a lot of things to figure out offensively, playmaking, rebounding, and defensively, and shot selection, and just having a good IQ of where to be at on the court, where he should be trying to get to his spots. And they was using that throughout the season, changing it up, trying to make things simpler, trying to make things easier for him. And it's going to be a work in progress. He's only 20 years old, don't have a lot of high basketball experience, was a guy that had a lot of rawness, but a lot of good confidence. Hopefully, they continue to build upon that this year, and he can have a season where he scores 20 plus points. Still want to see his all around game fill out. Still want to see his defense significantly improve, and definitely want to see him score more efficiently. Something that he really struggled with as a rookie, while also doing that in college. And it's something that we definitely want to be hard on him, and hopefully he can improve this season and throughout the rest of his career. And then the duo that a lot of people felt eventually was going to happen. We got D'Lo and Towns, pick and roll partners. D'Lo is a guy that has been a solid playmaker, not elite. A guy that can get his own bucket off the dribble, can play in the pick and roll, can hit a mid range, can hit a floater, can hit a three, can catch fire too in quarters and carry it to a team. Also has a clutch gene that he can hit big shots and make big plays. They needed another guy that can really help Towns offensively after they lost Wiggins and also Jimmy Butler. So they needed somebody that can give them some reliable offense on the perimeter outside of Towns. And now they have that and hopefully Anthony Edwards. And that should make Challenge job a lot easier, especially because he's one of the best big men in the game. The guy can shoot the three, he can post up, can hit free throws. Still not the greatest passer, still not a willing and trying defender at this point in his career. And ultimately, you kind of wonder, can you really win with Towns being a huge part of your team if he's not really going to buy into competitive, high-level basketball? And the Wolves have been bad outside of the year with Jimmy Butler, and they haven't made the playoffs since, and they haven't made the playoff before Jimmy Butler, and he wanted out, and they basically been rebuilding ever since, trying to figure out how to win with Towns as their franchise guy, and now people feel like he's going to be passing the torch to Anthony Edwards. Best part about him, he was willingly able to do it because you need somebody that can score with you. You're not going to win with one superstar. You're going to need multiple all-stars or superstars to get it done. So it's good that he's building confidence and trust with him and Anthony Edwards. That's something they're going to have if they're going to stay together, especially because he needed somebody like D'Lo and Anthony Edwards and Malik Beasley to make his job easier in the post, whether that's playing in the pick and roll, getting space, posting up to have space so they don't double team or trap you, so you can go to one-on-one matchup against your opponent or a mismatch. It all makes sense for Towns now. He just got to wait till guys catch up to him, as he's better than everybody on his team so far. But they have a lot of young guys that's trying to prove themselves, make a name for themselves, or become something in the league. They just don't have the requisite talent around them to be a playoff team again. I did feel like they had made the playoffs when Jimmy Butler was there. I haven't felt that way since, and it just shows you that they have dropped off that significant to the point where they've been in the lottery. I continue to see that happening. Maybe they can get them a good wing if none of these guys can grow after 21. So I do feel like this team is going nowhere, especially if they can't get another elite player on this roster or one of these guys develop into it 1 or 2 years from now. But even then, they still need other good role players, which I still feel like they lack on this roster entirely to fill out this roster to be more competitive as a team in the Western Conference. I can see if they was in the weak conference, but they're in the West. Every team is good. Even the young teams are better than them. They're a team that has a lot of potential, a lot of rise 2 to 3 years from now. But ultimately, Town is going to be pushing that 30. He might want out. He might want to be out of there. Same with D'Angelo Russell. So this might just be Anthony Edwards' team. A lot of people have been wanting that. A lot of people have been pushing it. It is good to have him some help. It is good not to put the weight of the world on him at 19, especially when he was raw in college coming into the league. But now Towns can kind of help him out, make his job easier, make things easier for him offensively, and give him some space too as a stretch big, and then pass the torch from him 2 years, 3 years now to be the face of the Minnesota Timberwolves. So that's pretty much what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen, not now, but in the future. But ultimately, can they win a title with Anthony Edwards as their best player? That's something to give y'all something to look forward to. That's something for y'all to start expecting within 5 years. Ultimately, we will have to wait and see. But what I expect from this team, be back in the lottery, miss the playoffs, and I don't see them in the play-in just because they don't have the defense, they don't have enough weapons, they don't have enough size, and they just lack great role players too, and they lack star talent. So with all that being combined, this will be another bad season for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And other than that, Quinn Wade, basketball analysis signing out. See y'all tomorrow. Hope you guys enjoy y'all weekend and look forward to talking to basketball with y'all tomorrow.